Welcome to fuelforsuccess.com. My name is MD Ahmed. Today we are going to talk about another quote from Rumi. He says, ignore those that make you fearful and sad, that degrade you back towards disease and death. Now, you see, when we try to decode this, when we try to understand this, firstly, the quote says, ignore. Now, what is ignore? Ignore is something you don't take seriously, right? Something that is irrelevant, all right? Let's say you're driving your car or you're taking a walk on the road and you see this piece of paper flying, right? So you just look at it and look away. So ignore the piece of paper, unless it is a 2000 rupee note. That's a different thing. So an ordinary piece of paper, you wouldn't pay any attention to. So ignore those that make you fearful and sad. Now you see, ignore those. Now this word those comprises of people, situations, and even the thoughts that you have inside your mind. This is my interpretation. So ignore those that make you fearful and sad. So in today's world, it can be an extreme example of external experiences are the news channels, for example. If you feel fearful and sad looking at what is happening around, so ignore the news channels. So now this is at a very, this is at the surface level. And then ignore those, that is, people who spread rumors, people who gossip about you, people who talk bad about you. So ignore. Now these people bring fear and they bring sadness to you. So ignore them. And more importantly, once you go deeper, into layers, you and I will realize that Rumi, when he says ignore, he also means the thoughts that we have inside us. Ignore those that make you fearful and sad. Those thoughts that make you fearful and sad. Now, how do you ignore those thoughts that make you fearful and sad? Right? How do we do that? One of the things to do that is by having this profound knowing that you are not your thoughts. Digest that for a moment, please. You are not your thoughts. These thoughts that you have that scare you, that make you feel sad, have been put inside you the way a program or a software is put inside a computer. So, how do I know this? That you are not your thoughts? Because if you were your thoughts, you wouldn't be aware of those thoughts. Now you see, a cat is not aware that it is a cat. A dog does not know that it is a dog. A dog will not come to you and say, hey, you know what, I'm a German Shepherd. No, a dog wouldn't do that, right? Because humans have this thing called consciousness. Now your consciousness is the awareness. Your consciousness is not made up of thoughts. Your consciousness is the witness of your thoughts, the observer of your thoughts. Right? So the moment you understand this, that this is your consciousness and this is this continuous flow of thoughts that make you fearful and sad, the moment you get that, you become the witness, witnessing this flow, right? So the moment you do that, you detach yourself. That is ignore. That is what Rumi said. Ignore those that bring fear and grief to you, sadness to you. Ignore also means detach. See them for what they are. They're just your thoughts programmed inside you and nothing else. You are not your thoughts. They come they go, they come, they go. So the moment you do that, you detach. Then the opposite of what he said, the opposite of what he said gets implied here. Now the next, he continues saying, ignore those that make you fearful and sad, that degrade you back towards disease and death. Now you see, he says that degrade you. These thoughts or people, make you fearful and sad. They degrade you. What does that mean? You are here. You have a certain level, because in another quote, Rumi says, you are the universe. So stop acting small. You are the universe in an ecstatic motion. So when he says you're the universe, so you're here somewhere, right? So fear and sadness would degrade you towards disease and death. Now, disease and death. Now, here, this can also be metaphorical. Now, what is disease? Now, if you look at this word disease, dis-ease, which takes away ease from us. It maybe Rumi never meant the disease. Maybe Rumi meant that you would start feeling, you will not feel at ease with yourself. You will have these panic attacks, these anxiety attacks, and though you're there, you're uncomfortable within your own body, right? Dis-ease. And death here, maybe it's not the literal death that Rumi is talking about. Maybe he's referring to you would die while you're still alive, because you might get into, something, the darkness of depression. Life wouldn't hold any meaning for you. So you're dead. You're alone. You're alive. You're like, you're walking, you're talking, but within, deep inside, you don't live your life. Like, Devdas, there is this line from the movie Devdas. He says, धड़कने तो कब की ही रुक गई चुन्नी बाबू, बस सांसों का लिहाज करते हैं, या फिर सांसें तो कब की रुक गई चुन्नी बाबू, धड़कनों का लिहाज करते हैं, whatever. That means to say, I'm dead within. It's just a formality that I'm breathing. So you might end up becoming a formality that just breathes, that is just there, dead inside. That is the kind of effect that things that bring you sadness and fear can have. They degrade you, they erode you, they eat you from within. So ignore those. Rumi doesn't say fight those. Conquer those. Rumi could have said, right? Fight those that bring you fear and grief. Or conquer those. Overcome those. He never used those words. Now see, this Sufi saint, he used a very subtle word called ignore. In the subtleties, my friend, lies your freedom. The subtleties of awareness bring you freedom. So be aware that you're the consciousness. You're the witness of your own thoughts. The moment you do that, you detach, you ignore. And the opposite happens. You don't degrade, you upgrade yourself. And you don't experience disease, you experience ease. And you don't experience death, you experience life. Subscribe, like, share, and download the podcast so that you can listen while you're traveling. You were listening to MD Ahmed, the international author and the founder of fuelforsuccess.com. So go ahead, detach and ignore. I'll see you soon.